What's going on, everyone? Alliance Orc here, and welcome back to another video. Before we get started, I have a few announcements I need to make. First off, we have Shadowlands achievement videos coming in on September 2nd. So if you want to find out what Shadowland raid achievements you can solo, make sure you're subscribed for that. Also, my work schedule is changing, which means I will be having the opportunity to go live more often. And those games might not always be World of Warcraft based, but I will be live streaming a bit more consistently now. But with that being said, back to our video. So, as you guys can probably no doubt surmise, was one of the people who got early access. With that being said, the best thing to do at max level, at least in my eyes, was nothing with the War Within content at all, but much rather, I wanted to go back to the Shadowlands, because Shadowlands is now Legacy, meaning that all raid bosses drop excessively more loot when you solo them, and I wanted to see, because there are altaholics, and, at the bare minimum of 530 item level, how much can you get away with in Shadowlands, And I have some answers for y'all. So first off, a lot of these I will be bringing up will be heroic plus difficulty issues, with a few exceptions. But we'll go ahead and we will start at the beginning with Castle Nathria. So I'm sure everyone's going to bring it up, so let's just address it right now. Sun King Salvation. If you are a class like a warrior, a death knight, a warlock, a hunter, anything that does not have access to immediate on-demand heals, don't even think about trying this fight, because you're not going to have... If you can solo it, good on you, because I know that there's the pedestals that you can channel heals into once every 2 minutes. But do you really want to be doing that? Especially when you can bring in a druid and get the same transmog because it's warband wide much faster. So yeah, Sun King Salvation, especially on Mythic, because Mythic has the Pyroclasm kill mechanic, which will absolutely annihilate you. Sun King is not soloable if you do not have access to on-demand heals. And I've already ran this place on Mythic, and I've actually got a fair bit of intel. Now, the other places I'm going to be running on Mythic later, but Artificier Zymox, he is consistently soloable. However, the fleeting spirits that possess people, that can cause the fight to reset if you do not nuke him down fast enough. Now, a lot of these issues, they will resolve with time and as more gear becomes available. But like I said, this is literally just what a base level 80 can do. So, Zymox, you have a light DPS check in the ghosts. But I mean, you could also kite them too if you're a ranged DPS. So, it's a very, very minimal issue, if that. But aside from that, the only other issue I can bring up is on Mythic with the Stone Legion generals. You have to be aware that if you are not careful with your surroundings, you can very easily get knocked off of the castle. Very easily. Now, it's not as easy to fall off as it once was, because the main knockback is when you turn Anima in, and you'll be all the way over by Renathal when that happens. But for the most part, you should have no issue with them. Sire Denathrius, though, let's talk about Burden of Sin. So Burden of Sin, every stack of Burden of Sin you take into the transition will be a 10% slow. And he applies Burden of Sin really early into the fight. So if you go in here on Mythic and you unload your cooldowns and you have 6 stacks of Burden of Sin, well, guess what? You're going to get hit with Fall of the Unworthy, and you will fall to a violent, unavoidable death, because you will be moving 60% slower, and during March of the Penitent, you are silenced. You can't shapeshift, you can't speed up, you can't do anything except walk. But once you get to the transition, Sire Denathrius is completely free. Like, let's be realistic here. Moving on to Sanctum of Domination, we do have a few problem childs we have to address here. First off, the Terragru. The only thing really to note about him is he hit me with an ability that did the 30-second stun at one point. I don't even know what it was. Oh, it was this one. Annihilating Smash. You'll get stunned for 30 seconds. Might as well just go make you breakfast at that point, because ain't nothing there to break you out of that. You know, you're just stuck there. It's an annoyance, really. Nothing else. But Eye of the Jailer. This is a heroic only difficulty. If you do not DPS him down fast enough, he will call in Stygian Abductors. This is only for Heroic Plus, but what these guys do is similar to the trash before him, is they will grapple you in a chain and try to drag you off the platform. If you get chained, you're dead. However, since you are level 80, they will miss majority of their chain casts, but the longer the fight goes on, the more of them will be there to spam chain casts on you. So essentially, like I say, if you get chained, just accept your fate. You're gone. And this boss has 2 forced transitions as well. But aside from that, the only other person we need to talk about are these 3. So Guardian of the first one, on Heroic and higher, if you do not kill him fast enough, you will get hit with Obliterate. Okay, so getting hit with Obliterate is not that bad. Get hit with Obliterate again and you take 5,000% increased damage. Again, this is something that will go away probably when the first raid tier opens up, but like I said, this is the mindset of a fresh level 80. You know, you got your ult, you want to farm through, you want to get vengeance, you want to get everything else. Just keep in mind, this does one shot at level 80. Absolutely one shots. And then everyone's favorite boss, the Fate Scribe. And you guys are going to be joyed to hear that he's still a dick. Fate Scribe Rokalo is still a dick. I killed him on Heroic on my Warrior. Because, spoiler alert, I have 280s at the time I'm making this video. And on Heroic difficulty, even on Raid Finder, it's damn near impossible to finish the cast before he starts doing the pulsing damage. And on Heroic, it was a considerable amount. So on Mythic, with how long it'll take to do all 6 rings, you better make sure you have some very good on-demand healing, or this fight will still prove to be an issue. Again, though, with time and gear, you can just pull him to the edge of the room, one-shot him in your burst, you'll be fine. But now for the problem child and the one who made me make this video, Kel'Thuzad. So I can't remember if I said it or not, but this is Raid Finder difficulty. With that being said, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to show you. What the hell? Yeah. This is on Raid Finder, by the way. To defeat Kel'Thuzad, you have to go into his phylactery. And you have to kill the spirit of Kel'Thuzad to be able to kill the Lich version. What this means is that right now, at current time, it doesn't matter how geared you are, you cannot farm for Vengeance. You cannot farm for Raishalar, Death's Whisper. You can't farm for any of the Hunter Quivers because those are specifically normal plus. Raid Finder Sylvanas is still possible and killable. But because of Kel'Thuzad, you cannot, physically impossible, to solo Sylvanas. And it will remain that way until Blizzard addresses it, because not even the raid skip will retcon this. Because the raid skip literally just takes you to the issue. straight to the issue. So, yeah, like I said, Kel'Thuzad was what made me make this video in the first place. But yeah, and I can tell you right now, Sylvanas is every hunter's wet dream made real with the bow and the Dark Ranger's quiver, because let's face it, this is literally like every hunter needs to be using the quiver for their cape. It's literally a hunter cape. But let's move on to Cephaliker real quick. And honestly, you guys will be happy to hear this, most of these fights are soloable, like all of them are. The one thing I want to note out is that the Vigilant Guardian, whenever he is active, let me see if it shows it. No, it does not show it. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Oh wait, here we go. It'll roll forward and transform. Yeah, no, it just doesn't show it. So, something you guys need to know about Vigilant Guardian: if he rolls, when he rolls out and he becomes active, if he rolls out on top of you, you just get crushed and died immediately, like immediate death. Like, this is the first boss, but you know he is kind of huge, so it makes sense that him rolling on you would kill you. But aside from that, every other boss in this raid is basically free. The only difficult one I would say is probably Anduin and maybe the Jailer himself. The Jailer, the only thing you really have to worry about with him is I want to say it's the Runes of Damnation, because they actually blast you up into the air, and because you're probably not going to jump into holes to drop them, you're just going to be like bursting him down. That knockup is very, very noticeable. Just keep that in mind. But like I said, aside from everything I've mentioned, pretty much everything else is soloable. There is really no difficulty curve. Maybe Zymox, but in Cephaliker, but just make sure you nuke the ads down quick enough and you'll be good. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up, because I am about to start recording some Shadowland achievement videos for you guys. If you enjoyed, do consider subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot, and I will see you guys for the next video.